I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is my home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard a fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere!
Hey everyone, this is Jaden Hydara, aka SpideyFan 101, and today I am here to finally talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And sorry we can hear my fan in the background. Now, a few disclaimers before I start. First, this is a fully in-depth spoiler review, so if you haven't seen this film, which, what are you doing with your life if you haven't? Go watch it and come back. Second, I will not be talking about America Chavez, or should I say, my girl America, as I call her, in this video again, unless I'm talking about her intertwined arc with Strange. An emphasis on again, because I made an entirely separate video about America a week ago. Check the description, or check my channel to know my thoughts on her. And third, have a great time. So, before this movie came out, I obviously had my worries. I was worried because it took Marvel Studios 6 years, I believe, to make a Doctor Strange sequel, and they were meddling with it so much to the point where Scott Derrickson left the project. The massive amount of reshoots that took place, which I will talk about, and the fact that the movie for a long time was seemingly like less of a Doctor Strange movie and more like a cameo galore kind of movie. And all those things were not getting me excited. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Spider-Man No Way Home went through the exact same stuff minus the reshoots, and also had me not excited, and look what happened. It became one of my favorite movies of all time, and a movie that changed my life for the better in so many ways. I was going into this wanting it to be a great Doctor Strange sequel because I still loved the first Doctor Strange movie very much, and I have been waiting for a proper Doctor Strange sequel for years. And I am once again happy to report that I didn't just love this movie, I adored this movie. This is by far one of my favorite movies, and for me, it is all because of Sam Raimi. This man is a mastermind when it comes to storytelling and telling stories, developing, humanizing, and creating deep and easily lovable characters, and overall having true flair, imagination, and passion for the craft. He's got it all, and he nailed this movie. As a matter of fact, just like he is a perfect fit for Spider-Man, he is a perfect fit for Doctor Strange as well, and you can really tell. Also, I see why there were so many reshoots now. Seeing as though the writer of Loki wrote this movie, this is just speculation on my part, but Sam Raimi was probably like, hey, this script sucks, we're winging it. I'm sure there was a nicer way that happened, but Sam came in and made all the changes necessary to make this a great film. And just thinking about that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. But now onto the characters. This movie made me really love Doctor Strange. I loved his arc in this film and how it was about him letting go of his what was originally seen as cockiness and self-entitlement, but is really fear of attachment and caring for people. For him to later learn that it is okay to not only face his fears, but to start living a life not just as Doctor Strange, but as Stephen Strange. I absolutely loved that. And it has made Doctor Strange one of my favorite characters, based solely off the arc he had in this film. I also liked how his arc seamlessly tied into My Girl America's arc, and how they had formed a fondness of each other, as they both learned to let each other in. Also, let me just say that Doctor Strange is a great role model. I say this especially in relation to my big three, because in No Way Home, yeah, they fought for a bit, but Stephen and Peter still very much so had a great bond. And Stephen ultimately helped Peter get to where he needed to be in his life, accompanied by what his Aunt May taught him, as well as Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. And in this movie, his camaraderie with My Girl America was also amazing, and something I especially liked because, in a way, they both had their fears they needed to overcome, and they did so in a way that didn't detract, but only added more layers to their bond, and to them as characters. And that was amazing. Now maybe I should pray that Stephen shows up in that terrible Ms. Marvel show, because as far as I'm concerned, Stephen is the guardian angel of my big three in the MCU. He is protecting my big three, he is sheltering them, he is making sure that they are not corrupted by the MCU blandness and stupidity. And I don't mind that at all, especially after this film. As for Wanda, I wasn't expecting much because at the end of the day, I absolutely hated WandaVision. I thought it was a great show at first with its very interesting sitcom angle and the mystery behind what's going on, but in my opinion, it was immediately ruined by the plot outside of Westview that was so unbelievably bland and stupid that it hit you like 12 walls of bricks. And it started to affect even the Westview plot, and the show after episode 5 was so unbelievably bad that it gives me PTSD just thinking about it. Anyway, this isn't a rant about WandaVision, so let's move on. Wanda in this film reminded me very much of Otto Octavius from Spider-Man 2. And the reason why is because even though they didn't go through the same trauma, the general idea of why they ultimately took the path of villainy was very familiar, and this isn't a bad thing. This is what actually made me love Wanda as a character again, because in WandaVision, it made me not like her anymore because of the fact that she was doing downright terroristic things that should have put her in the raft immediately. But instead, she was allowed to get away scot-free and have her actions justified. Literally, like the guy that was trying to stop her, I forget what his name was, he should have been the hero of that story, because he was just trying, like, he started off at first just trying to save the people that were stuck in this hex, and yet people were still treating Wanda as it made no sense. But in this film, they don't tell you how to feel. They put Wanda on the path of trying desperately to find her kids and stay in that reality rather than accepting the fact that in her native reality, she basically has nothing left. This was a surprisingly emotional character arc, and one that I haven't seen the likes of in a very long time, which I loved. And that scene when Wanda has the moment of reflection where My Girl America sends her to the reality she is trying so desperately to escape to, when she sees her kids scared and crying because she was hurting their real mother, and Wanda breaks down crying, but then the Wanda from that universe walks to her, provides her with the insight she needs, and she then sacrifices herself so that the Darkhold can never again corrupt anyone like it corrupted her. This to me was a clever parallel to Otto's sacrifice at the end of Spider-Man 2, and it was an amazing way for Wanda to go out, showcasing how even the death Now, even in death, after all the death and destruction she's dealt, whether it be on purpose or on accident, she died doing what was right. It made me like Wanda as a character again, and her arc as a character in this film was honestly amazing. Wong was cool too. I once again liked his bond with Strange in this film, and instead of it feeling manufactured and cheap like it did in past movies, in this film, it felt genuine and real, and I like that very much. And that's another thing I like about the movie. It has so much humanity. Like, the characters in this film actually feel like people. They don't feel like pawns. They don't feel like chess pieces in a never-ending thing. Like, they feel like genuine people, genuine characters that we can fall in love with and attach ourselves to. And that's what I really loved. I feel like that's one of the many things I love about this film and why it is so different from his predecessors. And No Way Home had the same thing too. Also, I loved how the film basically didn't have any Marvel humor. It was genuinely refreshing and put a smile on my face to see a Marvel movie that didn't have multiple or sometimes several scene-killing jokes placed within almost every scene. And the story, being a multiverse film, is surprisingly streamlined. Just like No Way Home, it managed to interweave the multiverse aspect, the fan service, and the meaningful stuff, and make it all seamless, which was great. Now, as much as I love this film, it isn't flawless. I had one major issue with it, and it was the Illuminati scene. Not with the entire Illuminati scene, but just with the part where they had to fight Wanda. I loved everything involving the Illuminati at first, because it showcased the Return of Black Bolt post-Inhuman show, which, if you're acknowledging that this show existed, I get the show wasn't good, but what happened with Kamala if you're just in the Inhumans? Anyway. They bring Black Bolt back. They introduce John Krasinski as Reed Richards, which would actually get me to watch the Fantastic Four movie. He's the actual Reed Richards casting. I mean, no matter what, nothing will ever beat the 2000s Fantastic Four films to me, because that's the Fantastic Four that I grew up with, and I have and will always love them. The 2015 version, we don't talk about that, but the 2000s films, Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, that's the Fantastic Four to me. And even if you want to include World's Greatest Heroes in there, because that came out during that time as well, that's the Fantastic Four to me. But I will add Fantastic Four to my exceptions list if John Krasinski is playing him full time, and if he really is directing it like people are saying he is. And they brought back Professor X, which I obviously loved. My issue with it though wasn't with all that. It was with the fight with Wanda, mainly because it didn't make any sense. First things first, Black Bolt should have known better than to make a sound when he knows he doesn't have a mouth anymore. Secondly, what did Reed really think he was gonna do reaching out to her with his arm? It's not like he's fighting Dr. Doom or someone to where he could suffocate them into submission. This is Wanda we're talking about. And Captain Carter dies, which I didn't care about at all. Hashtag not my Peggy. Maria dies again. And then we have the most nonsensical one of them all, Charles. Now, it was cool seeing him face off against her in a live action film for the first time. It was. Him walking through her mindscape and seeing a TV playing footage from WandaVision was also cool. There was just something very satisfying about seeing Charles Xavier seeing WandaVision footage. Just saying. But then when he tries to save the actual Wanda that the main Wanda is possessing at the time, she sneak attacks him with a red cloud and snaps his neck. This was ridiculous on a number of levels. You can't say he couldn't fight back, because in X-Men Apocalypse, we literally see Charles fighting off an Omega level mutant in the form of Apocalypse in his mind. In the mindscape. Granted, that fight didn't last very long, but you get the point. And why didn't he just take control of Wanda's mind instead of looking inside it? If only Dark Phoenix Jean was there, I'm telling you, she would have done to Wanda what she did to those weird alien things in that movie, turning her into dust without giving it a single thought. That would have been satisfying. Man, I love Dark Phoenix. I love that movie. And I love that Jean. She's amazing. But yeah, that was the only issue I had with the movie though. Overall, this movie, besides the Illuminati fighting Wanda scene, gave me everything I wanted and then some. It was a phenomenal Doctor Strange sequel that was definitely worth the wait. It was a great America Chavez movie, and it served My Girl America copious amounts of justice. But again, learn more about that in the video about My Girl America that I made a week ago. It was a redemption and overall course correction for Wanda after the disappointingly bad WandaVision. It was a fun and entertaining film while also being a film with a beating heart that is visible for the world to see. And of course, it was a Sam Raimi movie to the core. So overall, I'm going to give Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness a 9 out of 10. This was truly an amazing film, and when they do the third and final Doctor Strange movie, I will be there either way, but I really do hope that Sam Raimi returns once again to give us an amazing third and final film. Either that or Spider-Man 4. I'm really taking what I can get at this point. But yeah, I love Sam Raimi. I haven't seen some of his movies like Drag Me to Hell or the Evil Dead movies, but I will get a chance to see those movies later on. But yeah, I just love Sam Raimi. And Oz Great and Powerful, that's an underrated film in my opinion. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I am Jaden Haidar, aka SpideyFan 101, saying peace.